When I was 9 years old, my parents worked long hours. My dad drove a delivery truck, and my mom cleaned offices at night. Most evenings, I was home alone for a few hours after school. Our house was small, 2 bedrooms, a narrow hallway, and a living room that always felt darker than it should have, even in the daytime. My parents trusted me. I knew the rules. Don't open the door. Don't answer the phone unless it's family. And never tell anyone I'm home alone. I followed those rules. At least, I thought I did. It started with the noises. Almost every afternoon around 4:30, I'd hear footsteps outside. Slow ones, crunching gravel, pausing near our front porch. I'd peek through the blinds, but never saw anyone. I told myself it was neighbors walking their dogs. Then one day, I heard a knock. 3 slow taps. I froze on the couch, my heart pounding. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. After a moment, the knocking stopped. That night, I told my mom. She smiled and said it was probably a salesman or someone lost. She reminded me I did the right thing by not answering. I believed her, but the knocking didn't stop. It happened again 2 days later. Same time, same slow rhythm. And then something changed. The next afternoon, instead of knocking, a voice spoke. It was calm, low, male. Hey buddy, I know you're in there. I remember my stomach dropping. My name hadn't been said yet, but somehow, it already felt personal. I just want to talk for a second. I stayed quiet. My hands were shaking so badly I had to sit on them. Then the voice got closer to the door. Ethan. I don't know how he knew my name. My heart started racing so fast it felt painful. I slowly slid off the couch and crawled down the hallway, keeping low like I'd seen in movies. From the hallway, I heard him laugh. A quiet, amused laugh. There you go? That's smart. Stay low. I didn't understand how he knew what I was doing. I locked myself in my bedroom and hid in the closet, holding my knees, trying not to cry. Minutes passed. Then I heard the sound that still haunts me. Fingernails scraping gently across the front door. Slow, deliberate, like he was enjoying it. Your mom will be home soon, the man said. I'll come back tomorrow. And he did. Every day after that, he came. Sometimes he knocked. Sometimes he talked. Sometimes he just stood there silently. Once, he brought a toy car and left it on the porch. Another time, he said something that made my blood turn cold. You hide in the closet. 3rd hanger from the left. I screamed that time. My parents came home early after a neighbor called about a suspicious man, but no one was there. No footprints. No toy car. They installed new locks. An alarm. Bars on the windows. The visit stopped. Years passed. I grew up. But when I was 16, cleaning out old boxes in the attic, I found something I don't remember owning. A small notebook. Inside were drawings. Crude sketches of our house, my bedroom, and the inside of my closet. On the last page were 4 words, written in shaky handwriting. You listened very well. To this day, no one was ever arrested. No one ever identified. And sometimes, when I'm home alone late at night, I still hear 3 slow knocks. I don't remember the first time I mentioned his name. According to my parents, it just slipped out one afternoon when I was 5 years old. We were sitting at the dinner table, and out of nowhere, I said, Mom, can we save a plate for Daniel? My mom laughed and asked who Daniel was. I pointed toward the hallway and said, He stands there. He doesn't like the light. That was the beginning. At first, my parents thought it was normal. Kids have imaginary friends all the time. They even found it kind of cute. Whenever I played alone, I talked to Daniel. Sometimes I set toys aside for him. Sometimes I argued with him. But Daniel wasn't like other imaginary friends. He never had a funny voice. He never acted silly. And he never went away. I told my parents Daniel didn't like when they watched us. Daniel says adults pretend not to see things, I once said. That comment made my dad uncomfortable, but he brushed it off. Then came the rules. Daniel gave me rules. I wasn't allowed to sleep with the door open. I wasn't allowed to look under the bed after dark. And I was never, ever allowed to turn on the closet light at night. When my mom asked why, I told her the truth. Because that's where Daniel waits. The first real scare happened when I was 6. I woke up screaming one night, crying harder than I ever had before. My parents ran in and found me shaking, pointing at the corner of my room. Daniel's mad. I kept saying. He said I talked too much. I had scratches on my arm. Thin red lines, like fingernails. I don't remember how they got there. After that, my parents started worrying. They took me to a child psychologist. I remember sitting in a bright room with toys, being asked questions I didn't understand. The doctor asked me to draw Daniel. I drew a tall figure. Too tall. No eyes. Arms that bent the wrong way. The doctor went quiet. That night, Daniel spoke to me again. I hadn't heard his voice before. Not clearly. It sounded like someone whispering through a wall. You told them, he said. That wasn't kind. I hid under my blanket and begged him to stop talking. He laughed. Not like a kid. Like an adult trying to sound amused. After that, things escalated. Doors opened on their own. Footsteps walked through the hallway at night. And sometimes, I woke up to see a shape standing near my bed, blocking the moonlight. I stopped talking about Daniel. That seemed to make him angrier. One night, my mom heard me talking in my room long after bedtime. She opened the door and asked who I was speaking to. I looked straight at her and said, "He says you shouldn't be here." She said my voice didn't sound like mine. The next morning, my parents packed a bag and took me to my grandmother's house without explaining why. They told me I'd be staying there for a while. Daniel came with me. I saw him standing across the street that first night, watching the house. I screamed. My dad ran outside. There was no one there. Years passed. I grew older. Daniel stopped appearing. Eventually, I forgot his voice, his shape, his rules. Or at least, I thought I did. When I was 23, my parents finally told me the truth. They hadn't believed Daniel was imaginary. My mom admitted she used to see fingerprints on the inside of my closet door. Long ones. Too high up to be mine. My dad once heard breathing from my room while I was asleep on the couch downstairs. They moved because of him. They never told me because they hoped I'd forget. Last year, while helping my grandmother clean out her attic, I found an old box of my childhood drawings. On top was a picture I don't remember drawing. It showed me, sleeping in a bed, and standing beside it was Daniel. This time he had eyes, and written at the bottom, in my handwriting, were the words, "He said he'd wait." When my little sister was born, I was 11 years old. Our parents put her crib in the spare bedroom at the end of the hallway. Since she cried a lot at night, they bought a baby monitor so they could hear her without getting up constantly. The receiver stayed on my parents' nightstand. The camera and microphone were mounted high on the wall above the crib. At first, the monitor only picked up normal sounds. Crying, breathing, the soft hum of the room at night. Then one night, something strange happened. I was up late playing a game in my room when I heard my mom call my name from down the hall. "Can you check the baby?" I walked into my parents' room, but they were both asleep. That's when I heard it. The baby monitor was on, and a man's voice was coming through it. It was quiet, almost gentle. "Shoo, it's okay." I froze. My sister stopped crying instantly. I stood there, staring at the monitor, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might wake my parents. The voice continued, "You don't need to cry. I'm right here." I shook my mom awake and told her what I heard. She sat up fast, listening, but the monitor was silent. She told me I must have imagined it. The next night, it happened again. This time, I was in the hallway when I heard the voice through the monitor in my parents' room. "You're safe," it whispered. "Go back to sleep." I watched my sister's room door from the hallway. It never opened. No footsteps. No movement. Still, the voice came through the monitor. My dad checked every window, every lock. He even searched the backyard with a flashlight. Nothing. A few days later, my sister started doing something that terrified me. She would stare up at the corner of her room and smile. Not a baby smile. A slow, calm smile. When my mom asked who she was looking at, my sister made a soft sound and pointed upward, toward the baby monitor. That night, I stayed awake on purpose. Around 2:40 a.m., the monitor clicked on by itself. The screen flickered, and then the voice returned. "I like this house," it said. "You all sleep so deeply." I ran into my parents' room screaming. This time, they heard it too. My dad ripped the monitor off the nightstand and unplugged it. The voice stopped immediately. The next morning, we took the monitor apart. No damage. No extra wiring. Nothing unusual. My parents threw it away. For weeks, things were quiet. Then my mom found something that made us move out of that house within a month. While cleaning my sister's room, she noticed small handprints on the wall near the crib. They weren't my sister's. They were too large, and they were pressed high up, near where the baby monitor had been mounted. Years later, my dad admitted something he'd never told us. On the last night in that house, before we moved, he heard a voice whisper from the dark hallway, "You shouldn't have unplugged me." We never used a baby monitor again. And my sister, who's now older, still talks in her sleep sometimes. She always says the same thing. "He said he misses us."